kid growing up, you really idolize movie stars, certain artists, people on TV. For me, it was athletes that, played in Philadelphia. All my favorite teams, the Phillies, Eagles, Flyers, and Sixers. So if I was asked, if I were to invite 5 people, living or dead, to dinner, it would be 5 athletes that I saw growing up that really influenced my love of sports and, kind of changed the way I look at life and, really motivated me at the time to play sports and motivated me to be better. So without further ado, let's get started. The first athlete I invite is Allen Iverson. Allen Iverson is an 11-time NBA All-Star. He was a member of the 2000-2001 Sixers team that he really led that team to the NBA Finals where they lost to the Los Angeles Lakers. He is best known for his rant about practice during a press conference. He came out of Georgetown, was an undersized player, but he had to play with a high intensity. He worked very hard. He became one of the faces of the NBA at that time, and he's still a very well-known figure around basketball today. Next, we have Brian Dawkins. Brian Dawkins is probably one of the most energetic athletes in this city. There's nobody that you run into, no Eagles fan, the best favorite player from the Andy Reid era would probably be Brian Dawkins, and that kind of goes for me too. In 2002, Dawkins became the first player to score a touchdown, recover a fumble, get a sack, and intercept a pass in a win against the Titans. In the same game, he did those 4 things. In 2004, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Dawkins was on that team. He led that team where they lost to New England. Without a doubt, the greatest player in the Andy Reid era, played with a high intensity. There was nothing like him, coming to the games. His introduction with the Wolverine crawl. There's no other thing like it. So, one of my favorite athletes of all time. Next, we have my favorite baseball player of the era, Roy Halladay. He was the first jersey I ever owned. My favorite player. In 2010, he won the Cy Young, and it really stemmed off of 2 big performances. On May 20th and 9th, he threw a perfect game against the Miami Marlins. And then, even better, I think, on October 6th, first NLDS Game 1, his first ever start in a playoff game, he throws a no-hitter against one of the Cincinnati Reds, who were one of the best hitting teams in Major League Baseball that season. This dude really worked hard. He knew what it was like to put in the work and to really grind at, being one of the best pitchers in baseball. He was the catalyst of the 4 aces, the Phillies staff that was really good in the 2010 and 2011 seasons. Next, we have Jimmy Rollins. This guy had a confident swagger. He knew, he carried himself really well. He knew he set out a goal. He was a vocal leader of the 2008 Phillies, proclaiming them the team to beat. Really kind of angered a lot of the rival fans, including the New York Mets fans and players. But he's the all-time Phillies hits leader. He was a vocal leader. He always had that swagger. He was a very cool player to see play, and really gave me confidence whenever I watched him play, because you knew he was confident at the plate. He was confident in the field. And finally, we have the Flyers captain, Claude Giroux. Flyers captain since 2013. He's been on the team forever. You can tell this guy's been around. Watching him play this year, he led the team in scoring in 5 different seasons. 2018, he was second in the NHL in scoring behind Oilers sensation Connor McDavid. When you're watching this guy play, when you're watching this guy get the troops going, you can tell this guy's been around. He was a very good leader. Flyers were one of the best teams in the NHL this year before the coronavirus happened. Because a main part of it is probably, in my opinion, it was probably because of Claude Giroux. This guy, always one of the best leaders I think this town has ever had on the 2009-2010 Stanley Cup team. This guy's seen it all. So because of these 5 athletes, why I would invite them to dinner to close this. Hearing their perspectives on playing each sport in the city. How the fans treated each one, what it was like, I think would be very interesting dinner conversation. And plus, I take attributes of these 5 players and I incorporated it in my life when I watched them play because, they gave me inspiration. The leadership, the energy, the swagger, the work ethic, and the confidence. Each of these 5 players have each one of those. All 5 of these players carry those attributes collectively. So, that's really why I chose these 5 guys, and I thought it'd be very interesting to have them at dinner.